look the other way with these odd little habits of yours? Why can't you just be
Normal?
Now, that's not what I said.
It's what you meant.
The new Invincible special explores the concept of being a black sheep, and in this case there's more than one character who can be categorized as one. Let me explain. During the entire runtime, the episode tackled several characters and their misfit status. From starters, the main character has had it rough since birth. She was born a superhuman. Her fate was already sealed whether she liked it or not. When she was born, she never got to meet her biological mother. To make matters worse, she even ends up being adopted and has a father who's probably the worst father in the entire series, even beating Omni-Man. And trust me, that's saying something. You have to be a real prick to be worse than Nolan. Her only friend during her childhood eventually becomes a stranger once she gets her powers. Her supernatural ability is seen as a threat and makes her come across as a freak of nature to those around her. This sense of not belonging even places her in a special school with other quote-unquote gifted kids. Naturally, she hates it. Imagine attending a facility 5 days a week that's a constant reminder that you're different. Ironically, even in such an environment, she doesn't fit in. It's fair to say that Eve isn't odd at all. She's probably the most unique one in her entire school. She's really smart, and something tells me that even with this intellect she possesses at such a young age, she doesn't fit in with her peers. They're probably just gifted with some sort of supernatural prowess, while on the other hand, she's probably light years ahead of them intellectually. The older she gets, the more isolated she becomes, and the more she feels like a fish out of water. It's interesting to see that even in her own home, she feels like she has to keep secrets and can't express her talents. When her parents leave her with the babysitter and come back home, her father is not impressed with her abilities. When the sitter alludes that she's pretty much a genius, he quickly dismisses these claims. Imagine how Atom feels, a complete stranger singing her praises whilst the person she calls her father disregards her talent. Samantha's entire character is one that's shrouded in tragedy and misfortune. The fact that she was stripped from her mother and never knew her real father was sadly only the beginning to the aforementioned. It's quite sad that even when she wants to try to fit in and perhaps receive admiration from the same people who consider her a freak, she's discouraged to do so. Time and time again, she's told not to use her powers. This has to be a brutal feeling. If she doesn't use her abilities, she'll feel like a waste, a bum, a loser. And if she plays hero, she has people telling her to be normal and just be a regular girl. Another point to note is how her actual biological family is a complete mess. She has 4 other siblings who are basically failed versions of her. One of them is jealous of Sam. He's constantly being told how perfect she is, just making him focus more and more on his own imperfections. It's interesting to note that even within her biological family, she's the black sheep, a perfect specimen surrounded by visibly flawed ones. The Doctor himself is not exempt from black sheep status either. You'd expect him to be evil and insane. For whatever reason, I kept on thinking of Martin Brenner from Stranger Things every time he appeared on screen. However, he's on the side of Sam. But unfortunately, this has led him to live a secretive life, randomly appearing in alleyways and jumping out of bushes. He's basically against the government's ideology when it comes to Atom Eve, basically rendering him as nothing more but a black sheep. A nice touch to the episode is how in the final scene, we get to see what Mark was up to during this time period. Well, at this time his powers hadn't yet kicked in, so he was joking around telling his dad that he can always play the part and still be a superhero. But of course, Nolan being Nolan, he's worried and frustrated all at once. For a split second, his rage is subdued by his senses. Guess you can say that at the time he was just afraid that Mark would end up being a black sheep.